All right, welcome back to another edition of LG Locks Pick'em. We got a 5-pack here. We got two guest pickers. We got Cole coming back for redemption after his 0-5
Awful
week
week.
in college football last week. Gotta throw it out there. And then we got our boy Jack. He from up in Maryland, Towson guy, but he is unfortunately a Texas fan. So, um, so here we go with the 5-pack for college football. We're gonna start in Ole Miss. Bama get minus 11.5 favorites at Ole Miss. We're gonna start with you, Grayson. What you got there?
All I really know is what I've seen from Bama on the road already, and I would be stunned if they lose it outright. But I don't know if I can lay double digits with Saban with the same comfort I have in past years. I mean, Jack saw it firsthand. Hudson Card almost beat them earlier on in the year. They're 1-3 against the spread on the road. They did go beat up on Arkansas, but who hasn't the last 4 or 5 weeks? So I'll just keep it short and sweet. I'm gonna take the points here. I don't love it, but I just haven't seen what Bama teams in the past have shown me on the road, so I have no choice but to take the 11.5.
Yeah, I was kind of back and forth too. I mean, if they're at home, I'm probably more confident in the 11.5. I just think that Ole Miss just got torched by Texas A&M's freshman quarterback. I think Bryce Young and company might be able to get it done and maybe get a late score. So I'm gonna go Bama minus 11.5. I have to trust Saban to figure it out, right? It doesn't feel like 2 out of the last 3 they're gonna keep going with this trend, but I mean, with the stuff that you've seen in the past on the road, it's hard to trust a double-digit spread. What you got, Cole?
We're taking Ole Miss at 12.5 here. It's tough. Obviously you don't want to pick against Saban. But I think Quinshon Judkins and Zach Evans, that duo at running back, I think they'll really get it going for Ole Miss. I think they'll be able to score enough points to keep this within 12. I think Alabama gets back in the win column, but I think it's just too many points here on the road.
Jack, how you feeling?
All right. Well, since I'm taking Bama as well, minus 11.5. I mean, Ole's probably going to win, but I'm taking Bama because Ole Miss is allowing 155 yards rushing on the ground, and Jameer Gibbs is the dog. So I think he has a big game. Ole Miss got blown out by the same LSU team early this year, and Bama's 11-1 after a loss since 2011. So I feel like you guys said, you can't pick against Saban. So I'm taking Bama minus 11.5.
Yeah, even split there. I mean, I feel like if it's at home, we probably all are on Saban and Alabama. Just they've been really struggling on the road this year. All right, moving on. This might be the first group of 5 we've had in a while since maybe the first week me and Grayson did it. We got UCF playing at Tulane. It's the battle of the two polar opposites. UCF's coming in with the best offense in the American Conference, and then Tulane is coming in with the best defense in the American Conference. So what do you got on that one, Jack?
Honestly, I've been back and forth with this game over and over again, looking to check the schedule, everything. I'm taking UCF just because of recency bias. I'll take them plus 1.5 to cover. But like you said, I think their offense is going to overpower Tulane's defense because it's going to be the best team Tulane sees all year. So that's why I'm taking UCF.
Yeah. The only reason I'm going to go Tulane minus 1.5 here, I think UCF's starting quarterback is a game time decision. He missed last week because of a concussion, and I know he's still possibly out this week. Their backup quarterback's no slouch. I can't remember his name, but he's not bad. I still think that Tulane's defense, especially if the second string quarterback plays, can get enough stops done to get the win at home here. They have looked pretty impressive defensively until recently, but I think that it could happen. What you got, Grayson?
Yeah, I'll take the better defense at home. This game could decide what G5 team we see in the New Year's Six Bowls as well. So that makes me lean a bit towards the home team as well. UCF's been great all year. Not quite as good on the road, though. So I think, especially with the defense pointing towards Tulane, that I'll go with them at home, even at the short number.
And like we've already said, UCF, best offense in that conference. Tulane, best defense in that conference. I'll be taking Tulane to cover 1.5 at home, take the better defense, especially if John Reese Plumlee does not play. I don't think it would be close if he doesn't. But regardless, take the best defense at home.
completely agree. Let's be honest. How many of us have watched a full Tulane game this year or UCF game?
Well,
Not me.
I watched a good bit of Tulane in Houston.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that was a great game.
yeah. That's what I was about to say. Like I've watched bits and pieces. I know that they've been really competitive. I mean, they've really played well this year, so that's kind of why I'm going with it. I think UCF is kind of like, I mean, yeah, they're going to score points, but are they going to be able to stop Tulane too? I mean, Tulane's still putting up almost 35 points a game, so that's kind of why I went with Tulane too. Moving on into the Pac-12, we're just moving through them. We got Michael Penix Jr. and the top passing game in America going into Eugene. Oregon's minus 13.5 favorites. Cole, you start us off here. Who you got?
I got Washington going on the road and covering 13.5 here. I feel like all the talk coming out of the Pac-12 has been about USC, Caleb Daniels, Bo Nix, and Oregon. And Michael Penix Jr. is not getting enough love out there. I mean, statistically, he's been better than Bo Nix all year. They, like you said, great offense. I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game. And I don't see Oregon winning this by 2 touchdowns. I think Oregon does win, but Washington's covering this.
Yeah, I mean, 13.5 is a lot of points, especially against a team that Washington is like 4th least amount of sacks given up this year and the top passing offense. So it's kind of hard to think that Oregon can get the amount of stops needed to cover 2 touchdowns. Is that key number of 13.5 though? You could get an easy backdoor cover. I mean, Bo Nix and company has been hot. So I'm also leaning Washington here. I'll go with Washington plus 13.5. I do kind of get nervous with Washington's secondary. They have a tendency to miss a couple of tackles and be leaky, but I think 13.5 is just a lot of points. So that's what I have. What you got, Jack?
I actually think Oregon covers a minus 13.5. Oregon's been averaging 48 points a game since they lost to Georgia. Autzen is a really hard place to play at, and Washington earlier this year got blown out by a bad Arizona State team. And like you said, Bo Nix in that offense is hot. I think they cover the 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, how you feeling, Grayson?
Yeah, I'm with Jack. I'm going to lay the 13.5. It's a huge number, and I hate doing it, especially with, college-age kids. But it's a night game at Alton, like Jack mentioned. They realize what's in front of them for the playoffs, and then Bo Nix selfishly. He hears some of this Heisman buzz as well. And it's going to probably take him getting to the playoff to get to New York for the Heisman, whether that's fair or not, him being out west. So I know we see some crazy stuff out in the Pac-12 this time of year, but I think Oregon escapes and doesn't allow the backdoor cover against Washington.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Bo Nix, he's completed like 80% of his passes 3 out of the last 4 games. And like Jack said, Washington got blown out by Arizona State, and they don't have anywhere near the talent that Oregon does. It's just so many points. 13.5, just it doesn't feel, when an offense like Washington has, it doesn't feel like it should be that high. All right, Jack, TCU at Texas. I'm gonna be throwing up horns down. What do you have here?
It's Texas minus 7.5, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm taking Texas to cover. It's at home. DKR is really hard to play at, as Alabama saw earlier this year. Texas D tends to play against better teams, and they know that they still have a chance. They hold their own path to the Big 12 championship, so they win this game, and it's golden. TCU ranks 77th in the nation in rush defense, and Texas has the best running back in the nation in Bijan. I think he has a great day. Maybe I guess I'm going. He goes rush over 150. And TCU is a bad first half team, and Texas is a good first half team. So if Texas can put it on early and stay consistent in the second half, I think Texas easily covers 7.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna go opposite. I'm gonna throw up the little horns. I don't know. You've seen Texas go through these spurts where they can't move the ball and they can't score, like last week in the second half. I mean, they put up 31 points in the first half and then 3 in the second. I think TCU having the 4th best defense in the nation and having a super efficient offense. I mean, they've rushed for over 140 yards, I think every time but once this year, or maybe even every game. I can't remember the exact, but I think that's just something that, I mean, 7.5 is a lot of points when you're considered the better team coming in. So I'm going to go TCU plus 7.5 with what I think is probably a streaky team, but something that just feels a little iffy to me. So what you got, Grayson?
Yeah, I mean, I liked it at +7. I love it at +7.5. Hopefully it doesn't come down to that hook, but the entire world has been screaming Texas since this game was put in the forefront a couple weeks ago. We started looking forward to it. Game days there, all that stuff. It almost feels like the pressure's off TCU. They're number 4, a TD underdog here. The whole world's penciled in Texas to win by 20 and to knock TCU out of the playoff. But I mean, I think, especially in the Big 12, honestly, the most chaotic thing here for the playoff would be for TCU to win outright. And I don't know if that actually happens, but I'll at least taking to keep it close. These are two great offenses, both streaky. They've both struggled at times, but I think TCU can keep it close on the road.
Yeah, and I'll be going with Larry and Grayson on this one, taking TCU to cover 7.5.
That's amazing.
I know Texas has a great offense. You can talk Quinn Ewers, you can talk Bijan Robinson, but at the end of the day, this TCU offense is much more experienced. Max Duggan will probably play better than Quinn Ewers in this game. I just think it's too many points to give TCU on the road right here. Like Grayson said, with all the pressure being on Texas, so I'll be riding with TCU in this one.
Yeah, as you can hear in Jack's camera there, that train that's going through is the TCU train. That passes for the next one. All right, we got last game on the college board here is ACC, so I'm gonna let my two ACC guys take the lead. You got UNC at Wake Forest. Wake Forest is -4.5 favorites. Start us off here. What you got?
My only reasoning is this is what I need to happen for my Clemson Tigers. So give me the +4.5 in North Carolina on the road. This might be the best QB matchup in the ACC this year with Hartman and May. I mean, Clemson found out firsthand what happens when things heat up on offense at Wake Forest. We beat them 52-45 in OT, something like that. I could see just as many points in this game regulation, honestly, the way these two offenses can go. But I'll take the story in North Carolina and hopefully they get to Charlotte with just the one loss, and that helps Clemson out.
Yeah, Cole, what are you thinking?
I'll be taking Wake Forest in this one. I like them to bounce back this week after a bad performance at NC State last week. Like Grayson said, great quarterback matchup, but Sam Hartman being the much more experienced guy, I'll take him in this. And with that UNC defense, I mean, one of the worst defenses in the Power 5. I mean, it's bad. You can talk about their offense all you want, but Wake Forest defense a little bit better, holds UNC a little bit more. I'll take Wake Forest here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go opposite. I'm gonna make sure we don't get a guess of death or a pick of death. I'm going UNC +4.5. I'm sorry, Grayson. I know you need the other way around. I mean, hey, they can still lose, right? They can still lose and get and cover, but I just think, dude, Sam Hartman and Wake Forest has turned the ball over 11 times in the past 2 games. And I know that UNC's defense is the worst in the ACC, but I just think Drake May is going to be able to put up some points, and they might be able to get that big turnover near the end of the game. So that's the only reason I'm really going with it. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's probably going to be a close game. It's past that key number of 3 for me, so I'm going to go UNC 4.5.
I too am going UNC 4.5. I think Drake May, this is going to be his Heisman highlight reel. I think he is being shafted right now, not being a top 4 Heisman contender. He's better stats than CJ Stroud right now. So I think I take Drake May and UNC to cover 4.5 over Wake.
Jack with the strong Heisman vote for Drake May. I gotta let the ACC guys go back at that. What do you think of that Drake May Heisman stuff?
If Trevor didn't win one his freshman year or sophomore year, whatever year he is, I don't want to hear any of this mess. I don't care.
Drake May's he's a good quarterback, especially he's a true freshman or redshirt freshman, whatever he is. I don't care.
Like, give the kid.
He does not need to be. Yeah, he's great, but he's not the Heisman.
No. Now next year he should be top 5 preseason. Absolutely, sure. But
you talk about stats all you want, but when his defense gives up a touchdown in a minute and he gets to go right back out on the field and score again, I mean, that's just going to boost his stats.
App State scored 40 on them in the fourth quarter of that game, and it took every bit of Drake May to get through that game. And that boosts his stats, honestly, which is fine. He's able to do it, but still.
I mean, you give Drake May, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Marvin Harrison Jr.
No one has Jackson Smith and Jigba right now.
That's fair because that motherfucker has missed 7 weeks this year already.
Or they give him Julian Fleming and Mika Okafor or whatever the next name is.
Yeah, they scored 21 on Northwestern. I mean, what have you done for me lately? That's wrong.
That's not on. That's on CJ.
And the weather.
That's all Ryan did. That's all
And
Ryan.
30 and 35 mile per hour wind. Come on now.
You think these voters are going to do more in box score watch? I promise you they won't. That's going to
I mean,
hurt.
why is Blake Corum in over Bijan Robinson? I don't know.
He should be. I think that's the worst of the odds
I-
right now. is
I
Corum.
think that's the worst too. I think Bijan should be easily in the Heisman running.
The next
If
running
there's
back.
any running back, it's
one is
Bijan.
Blake Corum's a better running back than Bijan Robinson.
I
That
disagree.
is,
Gap's not that
is-
big though.
that's cap.
Corum's like 12 to 1. The next running back against Jahmyr Gibbs at 80 to 1 to win the Heisman, and Corum's not that far and away the best running back. I don't think.
Yeah. All right. We had to get some. We had to get some going on. We can't we were speeding through it. We had to get. I got to get some bantering for the TikTok.